born in English year 1670 and he passed away in 1740. He was approximately 70 years of age when he passed away, just like the life span of King David and other great biblical figures. Now, he was one of the great rabbis of Tzfat and also of Jerusalem, especially during the time period of the 18th century. He would go on to become a Shluchei D'Rabbanan, a rabbinic emissary, and the author of the famous short Shelot Shuvot book called the Mas'at Moshe. And it was very much a specific period of time, and he was a rabbi of the congregation of the Jewish community in Rhodos, which we've spoken about an area on various occasions before in this series, a prominent position it happened to be. He was from the Israel family, respectively. There were many rabbanim in Rhodos and Eretz Israel, especially for that, I think spanning for about 200 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I think 12 generations, at least generation after generation of rabbis. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. Now, he was born in the holy city of Jerusalem, the capital city of Israel, in the year 1670. And his wife, I believe, was Rabbanit Chana. And his daughter was, what's interesting is, I think she was the daughter of Rabbi Moshe ben Yitzchak ibn Chabib, who was a very, very famous rabbi of his time. Rabbi was spoken about on various occasions before. He was, I think, one of the rabbis of Salonika, if I'm not mistaken, a very, very famous rabbi over there. And he wasn't, some people sometimes confuse him with Maharam ibn Chabib, who was the author of the Kitov Tamir, we must not confuse them, they weren't the same person. He would study with the famous Rabbi Avram Yitzchaki, the response of the Zera Abraham. He was Rabbi Avram Yitzchaki was Rishon LeZion, the chief rabbi of Israel, in the year 1715 to 1722, a very famous rabbi over there. Now, we'll go on and embark on various different travelings all throughout his lifetime, which we have to point out. He would, I think, as we said before, he was close to Rabbi Abraham Yitzchaki. He would live in Jerusalem, if I'm not mistaken. That was the place, the capital city of Israel, which was a brilliant, brilliant place to be at. It's a dream of everyone to actually be living there. I think he would learn, I think come 1710, he would actually go out on a journey to North Africa over there as Shluchei D'Rabbanan, trying to raise funds, part of the messengery, let's say, going out of the country for the community, the Tzfat Jewish community over there. In Tzfat, in his day, there was a strongish Jewish community over there. And he would, let's say, encounter many of the different kehilot over there. They'll ask him many different important Torah-related questions within regards to Jewish law. So he was one of the roles of the Shluchei D'Rabbanan, that rabbinic emissary, would be also not just to raise funds for the place they are trying to raise for, they would also strengthen the communities where they would go to, respectively. I think he would visit various different local communities, especially in North Africa, and would answer all their halakhic matters. And I think many of it was, his responses were actually written down, the time and the place, respectively, and the answers to questions in of itself. So it gives us an opportunity to see what he really thought. I think this travel journey would last around 3 years. He would go to also places, especially like Algeria and Morocco, where he met with the famous Rabbi Chaim ibn Attar, also one of the great rabbis of the time, and then he would make his way back to Israel. However, I think when he went to Rhodus, I think he was asked by the local Jewish community to serve as a community rabbi, and he would remain there, I believe, for 13 years consecutively. And many of his answers and several of the sermons which he gave at that point in time had been preserved, I think, even from this period, respectively. Now, it's actually so much more can be said within regards to his lifetime. He would, as we said before, travel around in general, and he was asked, I think, from many of the people from the Land of Israel Fund, I think from Constantinople, to actually go on a message into Europe to try and raise money from the European communities over there, convince the leaders of the communities to impose, for example, a weekly tax for the benefit of the Jewish settlement in Palestine. Now, he was, let's just say, he tried to strengthen the Jewish community over there. He was worried maybe with regards to the level of spirituality over there. He would be in consultation with the sages, great rabbis of Constantinople, all throughout, it's reported over. But he was a very great rabbi of his time. And I I believe, as we stated before, I think he passed away at the time period we said, I believe around the year 1740. We're talking about 285 years ago. Here from time of recording, he passed away. Now, he would go on to have great students, including Rabbi Yehudi Shmuel Tarika, who would go on to become one of his star students and would become a rabbi, I think, of his city which he was living in, respectively. Now, among his descendants includes the famous Rabbi Chaim Avraham Israel. He was a posek shadar. He was a rabbi of Jewish community, I think, in Ancona, in Italy, and he would author various different Torah colossal works, including Amrot, Torot, and the Beit Abraham, and the 4 columns of the Beit yourself, respectively. So that's one of his children, and also Eliyahu Israel, Rabbi Eliyahu Israel, who happened to become a doctor. He's become a rabbi and head of Jewish court in Alexandria, in Egypt, in the popular area of. You could say he was, so that's very, very interesting. So Rabbi Eliyahu Israel was his son. Maybe we should do a video on him. I'm not sure. Maybe we did cover him inside the series. He lived between the years 1715 to 1784, and he was head of Jewish court in Alexandria and in Egypt, and one of the most well-known rabbis in Jewish history. He would also have another descendant, Rabbi Yehudi Shlomo Israel, I believe. So the descendants do span down a lot. He was a rabbi in Alexandria, also again in Egypt. So please, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about the famous rabbis of yesteryear, especially from North African countries, let's say Iberia, Spanish areas, and Italy, respectively. So if you descend from any of the great Chachamim we are speaking about tonight, please send me an email. We would love to hear more information of the greatness of the rabbis from the past. So wishing you all well, and please subscribe to the channel. We are near 7,000 subscribers at the moment, which is a phenomenal achievement. If anyone is interested in watching these videos, share these videos to other people. Also, we've covered about nearly 1,000 biographies, short mini biography videos on great Chachamim of yesteryear. So please subscribe, browse, and watch the videos, and enjoy the videos, and share the videos to others. So wishing you all a good day, and thank you.